Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's Tech Talk. Just starting off, just want to wish everybody a happy World Plumbing Day. Today is the 11th of March, which is the World Plumbing Day. As you know, today, if you do any kind of charity work, you do any with a recognized NPO, you will get double CPD points. So what's usually allocated for charity is 4 points. So on World Plumbing Day, every single year, you will get 8 CPD points. So today's topic is what to do when you can't comply. My co-captain, Steve Brown, will just do a little bit of an intro and then I'll jump in again. Steve, are you there?
On spring break. I'm celebrating World Plumbing Day, so my CPD points are going to be for cleaning up. Morning, everyone. And today, yes, we've touched on this before, and it's a component in terms of designs where we tend to have some issues when it comes to audits and designs. I think Gerry is also going to be touching on this in one of his up and coming webinars. But today we use words like deemed to satisfy, words, it meets compliance, minimum requirements, etc. So if we just go back to this, and it's stuff that Adrian and Richard and everybody else has talked on in terms of the rational design. Any design that involves a process of reasoning and calculations and may include any such design based on the use of a standard or other relevant technical document. So it has to be suitable, purpose, and it has to meet the minimum requirements in terms of that design. So where some of the provision of the standard cannot be applied, the installation shall comply with the details given in a rational design developed by a professional engineer, acceptable installation drawings, and such rational design shall not compromise the safety and performance principles included in the standard. So again, it just goes back to that. So we always, tend to hear this, oh, it's deemed to satisfy or it's whatever. So we just want to just touch base on that. And then have a look at this. Next slide, Lorraine, we can just touch on where we are from there. But in essence, we find this all too often at the end of a project. The plumber, has been asked to position a geyser or pipework or whatever the case may be in one particular manner. And at the end of the day, when the audit is done, the non-compliance is now being found and it becomes a challenge. So where does this arise? I mean, we can have it in houses, blocks of flats, commercial buildings, flats that have been up for 20, 30, 40 years. And sometimes it's impossible to actually meet the requirements of the standards. As an example, I've had a couple last week where the guys phone up and say, well, the design has been done in such a way that the geezer's in the middle of the flat. There's been no provision for the TP or the expansion relief, and what do? So guys and ladies, the first thing is go back to the professional team, go back to the designer, right up front. We've had this discussion many times in terms of our technical groupings where sometimes the plumber doesn't say anything and it only comes out at the end of the job, and it's then being told, well, you're the plumber, you were the professional, why didn't you raise this? So I think the key thing is right at the get-go, go and have a look at it, look at the risks. And again, if you can't get compliance, then let's look at the safety aspect of it. So these again will be shopping centers, they'll be, it can be anywhere, in terms of installations with regards to compliance. Next one, Lorraine. So, we see this, geysers and cupboards and ducts, and making the system compliant is, as I said, almost impossible. We also have the other added botheration factors that come in with regards to body corporates don't want holes drilled through walls, or the whole argument has been like this before. Shopping centers where you can't get a pipe out, and if you had to, it exceeds the distance, etc. So every day alterations are carried out, wherever we are. You guys in this session this morning, you'll be going out there today doing plumbing work and changing things and doing things, and we come across these things every single day. And the biggest problem is that it's always left up to the plumber. It's for the plumber to make that plan. And let's be real, guys, we're really good at what we do. But sometimes when it comes to that design and everything else, the responsibility is panned off from the professional team to the plumber. And we then take the flak for the installation without possibly going to check. So as you can see, some of the pictures that we've got there, here's one. This was sent in to me by Guy and Belita, one of our auditors. And again, this is the plumber trying to make a plan. But if you go and have a look at the technicalities of where this is, the requirements, etc., there's a multitude of sins that are covered in here. And it's actually the plumber who's actually taken the responsibility for this. This should have technically been done by an engineering team to do the proper design. There'll be possibly warranty issues in terms of replacements under warranty. So again, being the plumber, it becomes a challenge when you become the designer. All right, again, here we have a typical one, obviously a block of flats. Where do we put the geyser? Above the kitchen, mounted to the soffit. Again, trying to meet the requirements of the standard here. It's horrendous in terms of what the guys have to do. And going back to do a replacement. Here we have the chained up, again, where you can't even get to secure the geyser, in the position of where it is, inside a cupboard. So again, we have geysers suspended off chains. And I think when I spoke to Audrey on the other day, if you're going to do this type of thing and amend geysers, etc., then there has to be a proper design done by the engineer in terms of the fixations, etc., etc. So let's not just sell ourselves short by trying to make a plan. All right, next one, Lorraine. Again, here we have the plumber. He's tried his best. Let's be honest. It can't comply, and he's managed to try and get the TP, although it's going to destroy that SV pipe that's there. But you can see him trying to make a plan with the expansion relief into a bit of a tongue dish, picking up the tray. So kudos to the plumber who's tried to meet the requirements and try and make it safe. It's got its challenges. But all too often we see this and we don't see the plumber noting it on the non-compliance notice, which again, Lorraine will re-emphasize when we go through. That non-compliance notice is critical, guys. Next one, Lorraine. Now, in this one, it was a high-rise building in Umhlanga Rocks, very upmarkety building. And not only were the geyser expansion reliefs all going into one common line, it also picked up the overflows from the cisterns, etc., etc. So if you can imagine 2 bathrooms, 8 floors, all interconnected into one line. Now, it's great to bring it down to the basement. However, the solution in the basement is a bucket. So all of you guys and ladies will know that when that bucket's filling up, how do you know which one is got the problem in terms of the flat? To go and identify these, the units are right inside the middle of the building, so you can't actually have a tongue dish that you can actually have a look through and see which one is overflowing. And it's a bit of a nightmare in terms of the plumber anyway. Well, I think he sells more hours because he's got to go do more investigation. But again, it just shows you what type of things have done. And it's great to get it to a point in the basement. However, on a daily basis or whatever, somebody's got to go and empty these things, and sometimes they're not, and they overflow all over the floor. So I think we need to look at what we can do in terms of making items safe, meeting the requirements, and ensuring that we do it in the best possible manner. So as one can see, trying to comply with the standard is somewhat difficult, and in many cases, decision made will result in the plumber being held responsible for a non-compliance. Again, communication, I think we've got sufficient people on the ground, work groups, chat groups that we can communicate with, just to make sure that we document and have a good paper trail in terms of whether it be a new build or if you're doing a replacement, etc. So without any further ado, Lorraine, if you want to just pick up from here on in now, in terms of how we deal with this, what we look for in terms of safety, and obviously the importance of a detailed non-compliance notice.
Hello, Steve.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so we lost you for a bit there. Morning, guys. Um, as a compliance auditor, you go to these installations, the ones that you've seen in the pictures, and you can understand the guy was trying to do his job. He took something on that was somebody else's responsibility, to be honest, a lot of the time. But also as the plumber and you as the professional, it's also your responsibility to make sure that safety is a non-negotiable. I had an audit yesterday where I got there, the guy had installed the geyser, and I had polycop hot and cold water reticulation everywhere. There's what you call it, they hadn't secured any of the pipes, and the client hadn't been informed of those things. And we keep going on and discussing the non-compliance, and we keep trying to reiterate to everybody the importance of it and the importance of what it does and the ramifications to you, your plumber, and your business as well. And one of the things of the situations where you cannot comply and you know that you can't, your safety is the most vital point, and it is non-negotiable. You've got to try by all means that safety, safety, safety. And the non-compliance notice is when it plays a vital role in here. And it's obviously majority of the time it's replacement. So you've gone into this this building, there's a block of flats that have been built. I mean, I look at the one that I live in and I look at how our geysers are installed. The guy that has to replace is going to have a problem on his hands because of the amount of non-compliance there is. And the fact of the matter is that, guys, you've got to go in, you've got to get everything written down in writing, and you've got to inform the client. I had another audit yesterday in a very fancy estate. I've got two geysers in series. The TP discharges are interconnected, galvanized pipe going out. The client says he doesn't know. The NOAA informed him of that. He's got an isolating valve between his PRV and the geyser, and the plumber didn't inform him. The only thing they noted down as non-compliance was no R1 lagging. That was the only thing they noted. And this is a continuous problem with the guys in that they're not taking the non-compliance notice seriously, and they're not informing the client. The thing is, you can tell them verbally, and I've said this before, my last presentation, where the guy didn't even the plumber didn't inform the client, and have ceiling flooded. And the end of the day, he had to pay 150,000 rand, get it out of his insurance to pay to fix her house because he didn't inform her of the polycop. So in these situations where you cannot comply and you've made sure that you've done what you can do in terms of safety, you've got to inform body corporate, you've got to inform the client, you've got to inform the insurer, but everything in writing, guys. It has to be in writing. Otherwise, it turns into a situation of he said, she said, and you're sitting in a situation now where you, the plumber, are sitting with a situation that you now have to pay, or you have to go to court for something that really honestly you should have informed the client about. And a lot of guys will tell you, in terms of the new builds and all of that, you've got to inform the person that has drawn up these plans. Architects and engineers, I mean, they're great at what they do, but unfortunately when it comes to certain things, and especially the certain standards, they don't understand the fact that we need to do this and this and this. And it's up to you, the professional, because you need to understand, as much as you're a professional, they're professionals themselves as well, and you're all on the same footing. And I really want to reiterate the fact that utilize the non-compliance notice correctly, guys, and make sure that your clients are informed and your clients understand the ramifications to them. Because at the end of the day, once you hand over responsibility to them, it's got nothing to do with you anymore, because you would have shown that you as a professional have done all that's in your power to inform your client. Steve, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, Lorraine, I think I had a phone call from a body corporate or a managing agent for a fairly large block of flats. And it was really great when I get the phone call from the managing agent where the plumber stood his ground and advised the managing agent and the supervisor of the block of flats of the non-compliance, the relevant safety issues, etc., etc. And obviously they didn't listen to him too much, but he gave them my number, and they graciously phoned me, and I went through the details and the requirements, etc., etc. And then based on that, they were okay. So the plumber is correct in what he's saying, and they will then look at items and trying to make it more compliant and safe than it previously was. and then they would apply that principle to any other geyser installations that are going to be done in the block of flats. So I think, that's really great when you get somebody that actually stands the ground, provides the info, and then also says, well, if you don't believe me, phone our technical people, or phone our chairman, or Google this, or whatever. And I think it's one of the key components that we have. There's a massive amount of information that we have out there, so to substantiate what it is that we're doing, and it's been like that for years and years. And I think more and more people have, when we see it coming back from some of the reviews that we've done and the comments made from the auditing side of IOPSA, where the client is really impressed that there is such a function out there, that there is accountability in terms of the support of not only the consumer, but of the plumber when it comes to that. So I think it's, as we've always said, if you've noted all the details, and you have covered all the bases, then there's no problem. I mean, recently I had a chap from Marisburg, same thing, phoned me. He was there just asking real relevant questions in terms of making sure that he covers the non-compliance in the correct manner. And I think that's all that we can ask, is that to just open yourself up. If you can ask, I think communication through all the compliance auditors, regional chairman, etc. They're all there to help. I know Gerry, Steve, and Audrey, and Richard, myself, yourself, Lorraine, we receive, five or six phone calls a day in terms of requesting assistance. And if we all did that and we just learned from that, then issues and moving the responsibility from you, the plumber, to the homeowner, and based on them making an informed decision. Remember, we can't go and wishy-wash it. We have to make sure that they're making an informed decision, just like you do when you're buying a car or servicing your car. They tell you all the pros and cons, and then you make an informed decision. And you base that on yours and solely yours and the information that you have. And it's up to us, as professional plumbers, to make sure that we do that. And I think, like today, when we celebrate World Plumbing Day, I mean, it's all over the world, are making a difference, not only today, but every other day, and acting like professionals and doing things in a professional manner. And that's really all that we can do, and improve plumbing one job at a time, Lorraine.
I'm in agreement with you there, Steve. At the end of the day, we are the protectors of the most important natural resource, and we have to take our job seriously.
Thank you very much. And yeah, that's all. And just enjoy World Plumbing Day. Stay safe and behave. Lorraine?
Just thank you, everybody, and enjoy World Plumbing Day. And those that are doing work, the different OPSA regions that are doing different things, please let us know about them, and take care of yourselves and stay safe, guys.